Guys, welcome back to our channel. To continue with our networking series, we are going to see about the OSI model in this video. OSI model, it's Open System Interconnection, is a set of rules that explains how different computer systems communicate over a network. This model was developed by International Organization of Standardization. It's called as ISO. So this OSI model is the basic model. So I think in every networking interviews you will come over this. So there are basically 7 layers in OSI model: application layer, presentation, session, transport, network, data link and physical. Today we are going to compare these layers with a post office scenario. First, let's see about the application layer. So this is like where you are handing over your post to a post office worker. So now comparing to a networking scenario, you are going to send a mail using the Gmail application. Now the next layer is presentation layer. Consider in post office, your postal letters will be sealed inside a box and the address will be labeled. So this is where data formatting and encryption comes in, because you can't leave the post as it is, right? It has to be properly presented. So similar way, in sending a mail, you have a text file. So this text file you cannot send as it is. This has to be encoded while transmitting. So we have base 64 encoding. Similarly, we have different types of encoding. So the encoding is mainly for data integrity during the transmission. So the next layer is session layer. So the session layer is something before sending your postal to, next process, the postal worker will verify your ID. So that is the session layer. So similarly, in session layer, it first verify your login mail ID and password, and it will, once the verification is successful, a session will be opened between you and the mail server for the upcoming transmissions. So this is all about session establishment, session opening and closing. The next layer is transport layer. In post office, once the postal letters are collected, every day they will segregate the postal letters in a separate bins based on the city, and they will carry this to a truck to transport it to the respective receiver. So let's say the postal bin is transferred to a different truck. So they will resend it again, right? So similarly, the transport layer is for error detection, resending, and it will sort based on the address. So this is about transport layer. In our sending mail scenario, our mail will be splitted into multiple segments. Each segment will have a sequence number, source port and destination port. So source port is something a client, a random port number. So every machine will have a different port numbers. So for sending, it will use a random port number. For the destination, it will be a 25, which is basically the SMTP. So this mail server will have this SMTP port. So for that, we are sending our mail. So we'll cover about ports later in our videos. So for every segment, an ACK is expected. So in case ACK is not received, right, it will resend that segment. So this transport layer is basically to split our email, and it will assign the sequence number and port numbers. So it also handles the retransmission. So the next layer is network layer. So our whatever the post we are sending, right, it will get enrouted to different postal hubs in between before reaching it to the receiver. Because in every postal hub, some process will happen and then they will reroute it. Similarly, we have routers. So in network layer, right, so it will assign the IP addressing. So it is basically called as network packet, in which we have a source IP and destination IP. IP address is something which is responsible for communicating over the internet. So source IP will be the IP address of our computer where the mail is getting sent, and destination IP is the mail server. So to reach the mail server, it will enroute to different routers. So to optimize the route, so everything will be taking place in this network layer. And then we have the data link layer. So data link layer is something the postal address has been already received to the local area post office. Now the postal worker will take that and it will verify the door number, and he will hand it over to the respective house. So this door number is something like a MAC address. So this MAC address is the unique address of every machine. So we have source MAC and destination MAC. So source MAC is the senders and the destination is the receivers. So this data linker is responsible for framing and MAC addressing. So now physical layer is something, the physical medium where it get transmitted. So your postal worker is using a cycle to transmit our post. So similarly, networking, we have fiber optic cable, copper cable, and the Wi-Fi wireless medium. So we all know that our data is not transmitted as it is, it will be converted into bits. So bits is like something kind of electrical pulses, it will be transmitted over the wire. So this is all about the different layers in the OSI model. Hope you had a good learning in this video. Let's cover more topics in the networking in the later videos. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.